This slide is from an article I had published in a journal. Wasn't a good journal, not asking you to go read the article or anything like that, because I'm going to talk you through everything that's important about that article, but I think it will help you understand as I start to move us away from this idea of discussion of tactics and more think about the strategy. But I did want to talk about just a few more words about the tactics before we get into the strategy. The market actions are what's commonly talked about for competitive dynamics, the pricing campaigns, the marketing campaigns, the service enhancements, the minor product changes. But there really are resource activities that are going on that are important too. And you can see I gave them these names where we're trying to deny, uh, defect, and debase. Denying resources is sometimes very key. You will sometimes see firms take moves, do acquisitions that are really more oriented at pulling a resource off the market than they are on that firm trying to use that resource. Let me give you, I think, a perfect example. Google's acquisition of YouTube. When Google bought YouTube for $1.4 billion, YouTube, it was about a year old, had a bank of servers and about 40 employees, and a rising name in videos. By no means do I think that Google could not have displaced them in a matter of months with the engineering talent and the overall much bigger brand name that Google had. So why did they buy the startup for $1.4 billion? Well, maybe that's chump change to them. But I really think the answer to that question is they didn't want YouTube to be on the market for the likes of Microsoft or Yahoo. So they wanted to deny the leading video website at that time from those other competitors to make them build it from scratch, which would have taken them longer and more time given their where they were on the pecking order with the customers vis-a-vis Google. So that's one example of denying a resource. And you'll see that now that your eyes are open to it, you're going to see this happening both in the local markets and national markets. The other thing you'll sometimes see is when people lock up exclusive deals. In 2007, when Apple launched the iPhone, which by no means was it a given that the iPhone was going to be a great hit, because at that point BlackBerry had the coolest phones going, AT&T did something very smart. They demanded a 2-year exclusive contract with Apple. Verizon, T-Mobile, all those other cell phone companies couldn't sell the iPhone because Apple had agreed to only market it through AT&T. So in essence, for that 2-year period, AT&T denied Verizon, T-Mobile, and others of that competitive resource. So you have the deny resource acquisition strategy. Then you have the defect strategy. We've already talked about hiring away people's key employees, but you can poach key alliance partners, for example. Several years ago, AT&T had an alliance with Dish TV to try to meet the bundle play that was available through cable TV, where they could do your phone, your internet, and your TV. So AT&T partnered with Dish to try to match that play. Well, you're thinking that's not who it is anymore. Now it's DirecTV. Yes, it is. DirecTV went in and basically said to AT&T, we'll give you a much better deal if you'll kick Dish out of your alliance. And that's what happened. So anytime you can go in and take a key partner or a key resource away from somebody, then that becomes a viable strategy. The last thing is when you can't take the resource away, try to devalue it. The best example of that is how Apple adamantly refused for the longest time to allow flash products to work on their mobile devices. What a lot of people don't know is the base of that was Steve Jobs hated the CEO of Adobe. And so he would go out and talk about what a clunky, outdated interface Flash was, and there was truth in that. People were increasingly moving to HTML5, but what it really was trying to tell the world Flash is an inferior product, don't use Flash, because Apple was in a war with Adobe. And frankly, it was kind of a personal war. You can also see where people try to attack the reputation of others. So for example, if I'm Florida and I want more tourist trade, then maybe what I do is I go after Hawaii's reputation. or if there's some sort of an environmental spill, or if there's some kind of bad weather that's happening in Hawaii, I may play that up to devalue the white sandy beaches of Hawaii so that people will choose my white sandy beaches instead. So I think these are some things that you want to think about on the resource angle. Then, and this is starting to get into the strategic side, what is it that I want to get out of this? The two common ways to think about it is A, I want to go for market share, but that needs to be profitable. You're going to find in the business strategy game, you can go out and in a matter of a year or two quickly collect a huge market share, but you can do it by hugely losing money. Not such a great strategy. So it's not just about getting market share. You want to try to figure out how to do so profitably, or you could be ceding a little bit of market share simply to make sure that you increase your relative profit margins. And this gets into some of those hardball tactics, like maybe allowing your competitor to win certain contracts or move into certain market segments, but getting them to do so in a way that you know it's going to take up a lot of their resources and they're guaranteed to make small profits. So you'll then take your smaller market share that's left, but it's in a more profitable space, and you'll specialize there and actually end up with more profits. Now let's get into the the strategic discussion. I formed this little matrix you can see on the bottom, talks about the intensity of the attack, and on the side axis is how the rivals are paired. This is a little bit of a long discussion, so I'm going to stop the video here so I can give you a more complete discussion on the next slide, or on the next video. See you in a minute.